Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and people. Welcome to episode 5 of MNW In A Nutshell, which for Warzone in a Nutshell is episode 3 for the show dated Saturday, the 4th of September 2021 Pacific Daylight Time. Your host for MNW Warzone is Jerry Aldini, who commentates over on twitch.tv/Dr. Caliban. But for MNW Warzone in a Nutshell, your host is the MNW statistician and bookkeeper, Carla Bader from Melbourne, Australia. So without further ado, let's have our rundown of Warzone for the 4th of September. Our first in-ring promo of the night is by somebody I was hoping would stay away just a little longer. Earl King West, when we hear about Earl King, it's usually bad news. Maybe I'll be surprised this time, but let's see what he said. Earl King says he is finally back where he belongs. Did the fans miss him? No, they did not, or at least I think they didn't, but we'll see. People may think that Earl King lost or didn't get what he wanted at Multivania when the Empire of Terror disbanded due to the loss in the War Games match. But even when Earl King loses, he wins, he says. There is a reason why Earl King doesn't mind the results that he got. However, Earl King has left his former stomping ground a bit of a surprise. And if you're wondering what the former stomping ground was, it is the Flashbang Arena. So that surprise to the Flashbang audience will be revealed soon. But for now, Earl King is to focus on championship gold at Warzone, and his victims, he has yet to determine and seek those out. We then have our first match of the night, which is our staple 8-man showcase match. Eliminations, falls count anywhere, 7 pinfalls or submissions to result in 1 winner. So in this showcase match, we had the boozy brawler of the Roughnecks, Burnout Vaughn, coming rank 8. And then we have our returning Latino B, Buck Bumble, coming in 7th. We have Maximilian Thunder Thighs, no longer in a faction. I don't know what else to say about him. He is a bit of a traitor. He's becoming a heel. More developments in the coming weeks. Maximilian Thunder Thighs came at rank 6. And then we have our Icy Luchador, one of the initial trio winners, Lucha on the Rocks, when they had the belts. Glycerius, he came at rank 5. And then we have our human alien from High Voltage, Leonid Sanchez. He achieved rank 4. We have our cheesy one, which always makes for a gooder match when we see him. Sir McCheese came at rank 3. And then for a little while, we seem to have a singles match at the end of this showcase match. We have our O-Lord for Justice, Raphael Sampson. He came just short at rank 2, even though he showed a pretty powerful display. And then we have our mysterious storyteller, who just came back. We don't know where his allegiances lie. He came in with the win from a pinfall. So then that brings us to our first audio promo of the night, which is indeed from the storyteller himself. In this promo, this is the storyteller's story. So many changes, so many questions. He says that the doctors have their science and their experiments, the Sith have their force, the faithful have their gods, the heroes have their codes, the wronged have their revenge, and the silent have their voice. Storyteller states that everybody is trying to find their own solution to the puzzle, but it's all just a part of the story. The storyteller seems to know what's coming, but then what kind of a storyteller would he be if he simply revealed the spoilers? So he says maybe he'll just give a little bit of a teaser instead. And he seems to applaud XR Kun's current decision to hire Kane as an apprentice. The storyteller looks forward to seeing where the results of that go, being the apprenticeship. Sorry, the slides take a bit longer to transition because my computer's not in the charger, so in case that happens in the future. But without further ado, here is our second match of the night, a singles match between Nakama Worldwide's Power Surge and then the mysterious Mr. Enigma. Now, why did I specifically say Nakama Worldwide's Power Surge? It's because in this match, Power Surge wants to make a name for himself. He wants to prove himself. So we will see if he can do that. With this match, he didn't quite get that win. Mr. Enigma got the win. But at the end, they showed very good, unexpected sportsmanship, shaking hands at the end of the match. And I guess it was, Mr. Enigma was happy to, spar with Power Surge. And once again, we will see where these two develop over time. And then we have our second audio promo of the night from the Three Kings luchador Flyboy Bell. In Flyboy's promo, he asks himself, what does he say about Omega Club? The fact that they are one of the longest running factions in MNW. They used to be bastards and that's how they got their reputation. They were a group of beasts hunting each other down and then probably victimizing others as well. Monopolizing every... So with every Multivania card, they'd monopolize half of it. But then today, Flyboy says that the Omega Club have no fangs, no claws. They're just a pitiful, nice guys, family-friendly team. SBL. Oh, okay, that's my initials in my notes. Strongman Bell and him will make work of Alpha Kong and his little apprentice, which is Whitney Lee in this case. However, the Omega Club winning, if that happens, will not stop the ambitions of the Three Kings. They want everything, even the flashbang belts, and yeah, these guys are all out for the multiverse. They're not going to stop until they get every single thing. And just as a reminder, the members of the Three Kings are the Bell Bros, Flyboy Bell and Strongman Bell, as well as the British Ginger Boy. Okay, so now we have our third match of the night, which is a tag team tournament match to get the titles eventually from the Toxic Wastelanders, the Revenant and Glorwheel. They are still at Disney World, or I don't know, they've probably gone somewhere else by now, but back to the match. So as stated in the previous promo, this match is Omega Club's Alpha Kong and Whitney Lee against Flyboy and Strongman of the Bell Bros, accompanied by their faction mate Ginger Boy. In this match, we had another strong showing from Whitney Lee, who pinned Flyboy Bell. And just while I'm on the topic of Whitney Lee here, he has had multiple showcase wins, and I have actually been forgetting to talk about the showcase wins. But since it's already happened, I will make a point of talking more about showcase wins in the next Nutshell series. But I'm just thinking I hope to make that a trend. But for this match, Omega Club wins and they proceed to round 2 against Team to be determined. And then we have our third audio promo, which is from all the members of the Absolute units, which is Absolute Washington, Forrest the Fortress Wade, and TJ the Mint Gable. So with these three members of the Absolute units, they're saying that people might think that the Absolute units are useless if they looked at their current track records. So what? It doesn't matter, because there's no need to win all the time, just as long as you win the important matches, so to speak. It's not how fast you get to the top, but it's what you learn along the way. And title pictures or any other records, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Every loss is a lesson. And when the Absolute units do reach the top, They'll be staying there for a while. So the rest of the people better get out of the way or get run over. I'll flick to the next slide. Hold on, I'm just going to quickly switch on my charger here. Maybe that'll help things run a bit better. Okay, and so now we have our second in-ring promo from Bart Ender of Nakama Worldwide. So we have Bart for another in-ring promo. We saw him a week or two ago. And in Bart Ender's promo, he commends Car Caradon for the title match last week. We see that Bart Ender has retained his title. But once again, he commends the Shark Man for the good match. He says that one day Car Caradon will hold gold, but last week was not that time. The reign of Bart Ender will not be ending anytime soon. It is going to keep going for as long as possible. However, Bart needs another contender or he's going to be plain bored. So he mentions a few wrestlers that might be suitable. He mentions Ignacio Cervantes, the social outcast, Raptor New Road of D&D, and then Mega Blitz X, who was a previous Big Oof title holder, if he can perhaps get that back. Bart Ender says that the brass need to find him a new contender. And then he goes on to say, pretty boldly, it doesn't just have to be Warzone. It could be a contender from Flashbang, UCW, Maelstrom, any show in the multiverse. Multiverse, sorry, my accent, it's a bit different. Okay, so that's better. Now our fourth audio promo of the night comes from the Sith Lord XR Kun. XR states that there must always be two in a party. The first being the master, which is to hold power, and the apprentice, which craves that power. The master's duty is to mold the apprentice and help them channel the force inside them. And the apprentice's duty is to overthrow their master, to best their master at the height of the apprentice's power. XR goes on to say that Kane has struggled in the mid-card for way too long, and that the anger and the resentment to his wrongdoers is incredible. However, Kane needs to tap into this anger and control it. XR can help. XR can give him purpose. XR can shape him into the strongest weapon into the multiverse, as long as Kane, the man with 8,602 moves, says yes. There may be a betrayal of Kane's morals, but then the question is, where have Kane's morals taken him so far? Kane can either fear the monster or he can become the monster. He becomes and nobody will chain him ever again. And if it means that a challenge is required to make Kane see this, then XR will accept that challenge. And then we have our fourth singles match of the night. It's the fourth match of the night, but it's a singles match. It is for the Nexus Titan Championship tournament to win the belt off Sir Uncle Dunk. In this match, we have High Voltage's new leader, Aiden Zero, against our returning Funky Da Funk, who is independently going for the title picture at the moment. So Da Funk won that match against Aiden with a pinfall. Da Funk will be proceeding to round 2. And then, hold on a sec, have I moved the slide? There we go. So our fifth audio promo is from the second half of Blood Money, Mr. Butler, who is still stranded in Disneyland. So we have a surprisingly amusing, I loved this promo, not to be biased, narrated recap of the nightmare at Disneyland. The second day, he finally had a run-in with pirates. His part of Ghost Stories. The fourth day, we had the introduction of Kingdom Hearts attractions. Submit! Ansem, I do not want you saying that in my household. Thank you. We have the 7th day of this nightmare where there were intergalactic threats from a faraway galaxy. And then the 11th day, he was at the wrong end of a hunter's double barrel. And then almost 2 weeks into this nightmare at Disneyland, he is chased by some Five Nights at Freddy's rejects. He thinks Dumbo's circus tent will be a safe place. But then, with that idea in mind, God damn the pink elephants, get me out of here! So that's that. And that takes us to our 5th match of the night, which is a singles match. It is just a normal match, not a tournament match. We have High Voltage's Wonderball against the ruthless delinquent Nakano Kirishima. And in this match, I guess Wonderball is trying to make a name for himself rather than just being, I guess, under the wing of Aiden Zero as somebody who was taken in from the feud with Louis McDonald. So it seems like a theme of tonight is, I guess, people trying to make a name for themselves. And it works, as in this match, Wonderball wins the match with a choking hazard on Nakano Kirishima. And then we have our 3rd in-ring promo, our 8th promo of the night from the Conquest Bloodlines leader, Sam Jax, who is the current holder of Money in the Bank. Sam Jax wants to remind everybody that he and the Conquest Bloodline can certainly be trusted. And one thing I notice about Sam Jax is he's not wearing his monocle third eye thingy this time, but that's more for another story. Continuing with the promo, he mentions the pay-per-view Apocalypse upcoming on October the 9th this year. Will Sam Jax cash in the Money in the Bank? You'll have to wait and see. The current focus, though, for the Conquest Bloodline is they will have gold anyway, and he mentions that a Bloodline member is in a tournament match for the Nexus belt. And then he also states that Bart Ender's opening challenge is an interesting temptation, and also that Gorm has questions for McMorgan regarding the Warpgate Hardcore Championship. And if I recall correctly, I wasn't bookkeeper at the time. I think Gorm may have been a belt holder. Correct me on that if I'm wrong. So then we have our 6th match, which is the singles match, which is indeed a Conquest Bloodline member in that match. It is the 2nd match for the Nexus Titan Championship Tournament. We have VIP's The Doctor of Albinomics. I have to say all of his name, or I don't know what punishment befalls me if I don't. He faces the Lady of the Conquest Bloodline, Lady Boots, and Lady Boots seems to be making quite a stand in this. Just like Whitney Lee, she's gotten a showcase win and now a tournament win. So Lady Boots will be graduating to round 2 of the Nexus tournament. I am unsure of who she will be facing next. I do not have the brackets with me at the moment, so we will be reminded of that in subsequent weeks. Then we have match 7, which is a 3-on-3 tag team match. Not tournament related, it's just that VIP wanted somebody to show their might against before they face Doom at Flashbang Super Show. And the team that was picked for VIP was the Murder Cave. So in VIP we have the Pharaoh Ozia Turan, Wilson Son of Will, and the Beef facing Arkov, Chasley, and Dr. Grimm. And we have the Beef winning that match against the scientist Dr. Grimm with a pinfall. So it looks like for now, VIP will be ready to go for that Super Show event against Doom. Can they do the same performance against Doom? Because if we recall Zericus' promo from Flashbang, can Wilson actually get a genuine win, or is he just playing games? We'll find out. And then we have our 4th in-ring promo from the, leader or just faction member of the main event Mex, Zarko Duo. In Zarko's promo, he says that after all that Murder Cave hype, they just lost that match. Zarko didn't expect them to be so weak against VIP. Although Zacko did point out that Grizzly Adams was smart for not getting involved in that match. Grizzly is the fourth member of the Murder Cave, because Grizzly is focused on the title picture, be it the World Heavyweight title. And I forgot to mention that Zacko here is our current World Heavyweight title holder. So Zacko says that Grizzly has had this title dream for years. It is one that R. Sawyer took from him. Has Grizzly Adams thought about what history would write about him if he did not win the title? How about if Grizzly lost that match? And then the fact that he couldn't get the job done and that he could not beat our current champion, Zacko Duo. And so then we move on to an audio promo, which is by one half of the Outlaws, Theron Eldrazi. He calls out Vin Smoke Sanji. He says that there is a fine line between brave and stupid, and that Vin Smoke is acting more guts than brains. The Outlaws took his dignity, his self-respect, and his self-worth. Vin Smoke has no friends, he has no allies, and that the only way he's going to get by in the tag team tournament is if A Brass appoints him an ally. And then Theron goes on to say that Vin Smoke has a chance to keep his dignity if he just ends up taking the count out or letting Theron and CJR pin him. One of them, sorry. But if Vin Smoke refuses that, then the police will have to come and arrest the Outlaws for first-degree assault. We must always remember that the Outlaws' game is to play for blood, taken dead or alive. And then we have our last match of the night, I should say afternoon, sorry. It is a singles match, a title defense match, and this is for the Warpgate Hardcore Championship, with our current title holder being the Scottishman McMorgan. So the contender in this situation is our private investigator, Papusa Monkey PI, who says he wants to get into more wrestling bouts. But we see here that McMorgan has won the match with a pinfall, and so McMorgan still holds the title, waiting for now, I guess, another contender. And when it comes to Papusa, we'll see where else he goes in terms of wrestling. So that is all the events for MNW Warzone. Now we move on to our final summary from our special bookkeeper statistician division. The show length for the 4th of September is 2 hours, 26 minutes and 25 seconds. And then we move on to our segment summary. We have 8 matches, 10 promos, no backstage encounters. Well, there was a backstage encounter, but there wasn't any evidence on camera. I did forget to say that we only had 1 tag team match this week, whereas we were supposed to have 2. The Outlaws and Vin Smoke, another member, were supposed to go, but they didn't because I forgot what the Outlaws did. They assaulted him. It was something strange. It was trippy, but that's the reason we have no backstage encounters and only 1 tournament match. We will have 3 next week to make up. So the total events we've had this afternoon is 18. And then if we subtract our 6 audio promos, that is a final of 12 produced events. And before we finish up, just a reminder in case you didn't catch that there is a pay-per-view approaching for Warzone. Apocalypse, that is the name, is coming for Saturday, the 9th of October, Pacific Daylight Time. I am not sure what number Apocalypse this is. We will have to do further looks through our records and calculations. So for now, Apocalypse, Saturday, 9th of October. Be there or be square. Thank you for listening into another episode of MNW Warzone in a Nutshell. If you would like to catch the actual show, the Saturday afternoon Warzone, we're starting to figure out that it is leaning more towards 1 o'clock PDT, and you can catch that over at twitch.tv/.com/MNW Dr. Caliban, run by our General Manager, Jerry Aldini. Thank you everybody for tuning in to MNW Warzone in a nutshell again. Have a good morning, afternoon, evening or night, wherever you are. This has been Carla Bader of MNW. Thank you.